como uma criança inquieta com fogo que me mantém vivo. Não presta nada, apenas deixe rolar. Esta vida é uma aposta que eu estou pronto pra tomar. Com cada reviravolta na estrada aberta, estou dançando nas horas que faço. Eu estou na estrada para a liberdade, onde as luzes não se apagam. Nenhuma corrente pode segurar esse espírito. Toda noite é outra peça gritando alto com meus amigos ao meu lado. Em uma sinfonia de som, nos levantaremos nessa estrada para a liberdade, baby. Vamos perseguir para sempre pelos céus. Não há sinais de parada nesse passeio imprudente, acelerando o que eles chamam de seguro, como um trovão rolando sem onde se esconder. Vou quebrar essas paredes e escapar, destino, eu estou lucrando agora. Viver a vida sem arrependimento ou medo, com cada grito da minha multidão agitada. Somos invencíveis quando estamos perto. Eu vou na estrada para a liberdade, onde as luzes não se apagam. Nenhuma corrente pode segurar esse espírito. Toda noite é outra peça gritando alto com meus amigos ao meu lado. Em uma sinfonia de som, nos levantaremos nessa estrada para a liberdade, baby. Vamos perseguir para sempre pelos céus. Com cada milha que deixo pra trás, o peso da dúvida começa a desaparecer. Esta jornada é nossa e nunca nos importamos. O caminho à frente é cristalino, deixe sussurrar sobre quem somos. Estamos brilhando mais do que suas estrelas. Eu estou na estrada para a liberdade, onde as luzes não se apagam. Nenhuma corrente pode segurar esse espírito. Toda noite é outra peça gritando alto com meus amigos ao meu lado. Em uma sinfonia de som, nos levantaremos nessa estrada para a liberdade, baby. Vamos perseguir para sempre pelos céus. Sempre pelos céus. Sim, estamos vivendo facilmente sobre um ar selvagem, em nosso caminho para a noite sem fim. A rodovia está chamando enquanto acendemos o hino da liberdade em nosso voo. Dono, sintamos vivendo facilmente sob o luar selvagem, em nosso caminho para a noite sem fim. A rodovia está chamando enquanto acendemos o hino da liberdade em nosso voo. No silêncio da noite, quando as estrelas começam a brilhar, um sussurro na escuridão, como um sonho há muito esquecido. Ele dança através das sombras, suave como o orvalho da manhã. Com cada batimento cardíaco ecoando, não há nada que você possa fazer. O amor, com certeza é algo que ninguém pode explicar. Ele pinta mil cores e tece a alegria e a dor. Ele te eleva aos céus ou te deixa de joelhos. Não há nada que você possa dizer quando o amor o encontra com facilidade. Como um rio correndo selvagem, sob uma lua prateada. O amor é a melodia mais doce e uma melodia dolorida. Isso vai fazer você se sentir invencível ou rasgar seu coração em dois. No entanto, há beleza no caos quando o amor encontra a mim e a você. O amor, com certeza é algo que ninguém pode explicar. Ele pinta mil cores e tece a alegria e a dor. Ele te eleva aos céus ou te deixa de joelhos. Não há nada que você possa dizer quando o amor o encontra com facilidade. Com tudo que você tem, Deixe seu coração ser livre esta noite. Quando essa faísca acende dentro de si uma chama queimando brilhante através de tempestades e dias ensolarados, deixe seu espírito irromper. Você vai descobrir que é verdade, baby, algum dia quando o amor te encontrar. Oh, amor, com certeza é algo que ninguém pode explicar. Ele pinta mil cores e tece a alegria e a dor. Ele te eleva aos céus ou te deixa de joelhos. Não há nada que você possa dizer quando o amor o encontra com facilidade. Portanto, mantenha seu coração bem aberto. Não se intimide com o destino, pois em momentos inesperados existe um vínculo que é realmente ótimo. E você descobrirá que é tão verdade. Apenas espere pelo que acontece. Baby, algum dia quando o amor encontrar, você saberá que é para dois. Oh, amor, com certeza é algo que ninguém pode explicar. Ele pinta mil cores e tece a alegria e a dor. Ele te eleva aos céus ou te deixa de joelhos. Não há nada que você possa dizer quando o amor o encontra com facilidade.
In the shadows of a neon glow, voices echo from below, shouting truths that twist and bend, lost in the chaos where reason ends. Someone's missing the Seroquel night, dancing in madness, oh what a sight. The throbbing movement's just a whispered tale, a dream so wild it's bound to derail. I'm a straight jacket for God's sake. These solutions are starting to shake. Crazy leftists with fire in their eyes, building castles made of lies. It's not a movement, it's a dream come true. But can you handle this? Can we break through? Fractured minds with painted smiles, they're laughing loud but running miles. Spitting venom dressed at hope, climbing high on a slippery slope, while sanity slips like sand through hands. We're screaming out for some solid ground plans. The world spins faster than our dreams can chase, caught in the whirlwind of this reckless race. Give them a straight jacket for God's sake. These solutions are starting to shake. Crazy leftists with fire in their eyes, building castles made of lies. It's not a movement, it's a dream come true. But can you handle this? Can we break through? The world spins faster than our dreams can chase, caught in the whirlwind of this reckless race. Give them a straight jacket for God's sake. These solutions are starting to shake. Crazy leftists with fire in their eyes, building castles made of lies. It's not a movement, it's a dream come true. But can you handle this? Can we break through? So let the sirens wail and the thunder roll, as we dance on edges deep within our soul. With every heartbeat pounding like war drums play, searching for clarity in this disarray. In the shadows of a neon glow, voices echo from below. They're shouting truths that twist and bend, lost in the chaos where reason ends. Someone's missing their Seroquel night, dancing in madness, oh what a sight. The 4B movement's just a whispered tale, a dream so wild it's bound to derail. Give them a straight jacket for God's sake, these illusions are starting to shake. Crazy leftists with fire in their eyes, building castles made of lies. It's not a movement, it's a dream come true. But can you handle this? Can we break through? Fractured minds with painted smiles, they're laughing loud, they're running miles, spitting venom dressed as hope, climbing high on a slippery slope. While sanity slips like sand through hands, we're screaming out for some solid ground plans. The world spins faster than our dreams can chase, caught in the whirlwind of this reckless race. Give them a straight jacket for God's sake, these illusions are starting to shake. Crazy leftists with fire in their eyes, building castles made of lies. It's not a movement, it's a dream come true. But can you handle this? Can we break through? The wall spins faster than our dreams can chase, caught in the whirlwind of this reckless race. Give them a straight jacket for God's sake, these illusions are starting to shake. Crazy leftists with fire in their eyes, building castles made of lies. It's not a movement, it's a dream come true. But can you handle this? Can we break through? The world's been come true. But can you handle this? Can we break through? So let the sirens wail and the thunder roll, as we dance on edges deep within our soul. With every
lights flash, cameras clicking quick. Showtime, super Gringo slick. Headlines buzzing like a mix. 20 seconds, that's the fix. Short and sharp, just like a dart. Gringo's antics steal your heart. In a flash, the show will start. Super shorts, that's where we part. Short and sharp, just like a dart. Gringo's antics steal your heart. In a flash, the show will start. Super shorts, that's where we part.
I wasn't going to do it live today, but I wanted to see if I could use PowerPoint as a tool for OBS, and for some classes, maybe in English for Brazilians and so forth. Hey, loony leftists, a district judge can't stop the president from doing their job outside their districts. If you know an illegal alien, say goodbye, and help them pack. Immigration enforcement is the president's job, protecting citizens' rights against non-citizens. It's literally in the Constitution. District judges and their limitations on authority. The case against nationwide injunctions. The United States judicial system is characterized by a tiered structure, where different levels of courts have distinct jurisdictions and powers. District judges, who serve in federal trial courts, are crucial to the administration of justice. However, their authority is confined primarily to the geographic regions of their respective districts. This essay examines the limitations of district judges, particularly focusing on their inability to issue nationwide injunctions. It analyzes the implications of these limitations for judicial authority, the balance of power among branches of government, and the impact on legal precedents and public policy. District judges are the first level of federal judiciary, located across various districts in the United States. They are responsible for overseeing a wide range of cases, including civil and criminal matters. Their decisions can significantly influence legal outcomes and public policy within their jurisdictions. While they hold substantial power, particularly in significant cases, they are bound by territorial limits that prevent their decisions from extending beyond their district borders. District judges operate under the presumption of localized jurisdiction, which means they can only make rulings applicable to the legal matters arising within their designated areas. This structure is designed to preserve a decentralized legal system, where different districts can address distinct local issues effectively. A nationwide injunction is a judicial ruling that prohibits enforcement of a law or government action across the entire country, as opposed to only within the specific jurisdiction where the case was decided. These types of injunctions have garnered attention, particularly when higher courts, including federal appellate courts and the Supreme Court, have taken steps to limit or critique their issuance. While the concept of nationwide injunctions intends to provide swift relief against government policies deemed unconstitutional or otherwise unlawful, their application raises significant issues regarding the role of district judges. The legal community remains divided over their appropriateness and implications. The authority of federal district judges is delineated by the Constitution and federal statutes, which designate them as representatives of the judicial branch within their respective districts. As such, any ruling issued by a district judge is valid only within that geographic area. For example, a district court decision may impact cases arising from states within that district, but it cannot dictate legal standards for districts in other parts of the country. The Supreme Court's decisions reinforce these limitations. In cases such as United States v. Nixon and Arizona v. United States, higher courts have underscored the importance of district judges' territorial jurisdiction, affirming that their authority does not extend beyond their individual districts. The prevention of nationwide injunctions by district judges upholds the principles of federalism and serves to maintain checks and balances within governmental power. In recent years, several high-profile cases have sparked debates about the ability of lower courts to issue nationwide injunctions. A notable example is the litigation surrounding the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals (DACA) program. During legal challenges related to the program, judges from various districts issued conflicting rulings, leading to public confusion and inconsistency across jurisdictions. In 2018, for instance, a federal district judge in California issued an injunction against the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle DACA, making the ruling applicable nationwide. However, critics pointed out that this type of injunction potentially undermines the scope of judicial authority, particularly when lower courts intervene in high-stakes political issues. Moreover, the Supreme Court has increasingly cautioned against the overreach of lower courts. In the 2021 case of Department of Homeland Security versus Regents of the University of California, the court highlighted the need for restraint and clarity in lower court rulings, particularly those that influence national policies. The limitations faced by district judges in issuing nationwide injunctions are significant regarding federalism. Federalism, the division of authority between national and state levels, is a foundational concept in the American legal system. By restricting the ability of district judges to extend rulings beyond their jurisdictions, the system underscores the importance of local governance and diverse interpretations of law based on regional contexts. Moreover, the prohibition of nationwide injunctions encourages litigants to seek redress in multiple jurisdictions. This can lead to varied outcomes based on local legal interpretations, creating a patchwork of legal standards across the country. While this could result in inconsistent application of laws, it also allows for tailored justice that reflects the unique legal and cultural landscapes of different regions. As conversations about the role of district judges continue to evolve, several challenges and potential directions emerge. Given the increasing polarization of legal and political issues, district judges may encounter more cases that demand nationwide responses. The pressure to create uniform legal standards on contentious issues such as immigration, healthcare, and civil rights could lead to renewed calls for the ability to issue nationwide injunctions. Legislative developments may also shape the future landscape of judicial authority. If Congress seeks to formalize or restrict the ability of district judges to issue nationwide injunctions, the implications could resonate across various legal fronts. Therefore, it is crucial for lawmakers to consider the balance of power and the protection of judicial independence when proposing such changes. Additionally, emerging technologies and social media raise questions about the dissemination and influence of judicial rulings. In a globalized world, the rapid spread of information can blur the lines of local authority, which may prompt future challenges in defining the limits of district court rulings. District judges play an essential role in the U.S. judicial system, with jurisdictional limitations that restrict the issuance of nationwide injunctions. These limitations underscore the principles of federalism, maintaining a balance among the branches of government. While recent cases have highlighted the tensions surrounding judicial authority, the prohibition of nationwide injunctions upholds the integrity of localized legal interpretations. As societal issues evolve, the conversation around judicial authority will remain relevant, prompting the need for ongoing discourse on the implications of judicial power in a complex legal landscape. Assessing COVID-19 mortality among vaccinated individuals. The COVID-19 pandemic has sparked numerous discussions regarding public health data and the effectiveness of vaccination. From May to June 2021, the media reported that approximately 60% of COVID-19 deaths were among fully vaccinated individuals. Subsequently, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, changed its data reporting methods, sparking debates about transparency and public understanding of vaccine effectiveness. This essay explores the historical context of COVID-19 vaccination, the significance of reported data, and the impact on public health discourse. Additionally, the study examines different perspectives on these data, including the positive and negative impacts of vaccination efforts during the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has prompted an unprecedented global response, marked by extraordinary collaboration among scientists, health professionals, and governments. The rapid development and distribution of vaccines has been hailed as one of the great achievements of modern medicine. The Pfizer-BioNTech, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines were granted emergency use authorization (EUA) by the FDA in late 2020 and early 2021, offering a glimmer of hope in the fight against the virus. Sullivan, 2021. Early studies have shown that these vaccines are highly effective in reducing severe illness, hospitalizations, and deaths from COVID-19. For example, clinical trials have demonstrated efficacy rates greater than 94% in preventing symptomatic COVID-19 with the Pfizer-BioNTech and Moderna vaccines. Baden et al. 2021. Polak et al. 2020. As vaccines became widely available in the spring of 2021, public health messaging emphasized vaccination as a critical tool for protecting public health and returning to normal life. In this context, the emergence of data showing a significant proportion of deaths among vaccinated people was not only concerning but also confusing. The notion that vaccinated people can still get COVID-19 challenged the notion of the complete protection afforded by vaccines, creating a divide in public opinion. Several key figures and organizations have played important roles in shaping public understanding of vaccine data. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky has become one of the most prominent voices in favor of vaccination while emphasizing the need to monitor for breakout cases. CDC, 2021. On the other hand, data analysts and public health experts have begun to question the context and meaning of statistics related to vaccine-related deaths. Figures such as Dr. Anthony Fauci have also emphasized the importance of comprehensive data on breakthrough cases, saying that understanding these statistics helps clarify the effectiveness of vaccines. While these discussions are rooted in science, they are often politicized, complicating public health discourse. Fauci, 2021. The balance between reporting accurate data and maintaining public trust in health institutions has largely determined how the pandemic is discussed. The reported statistic that 6 out of 10 COVID-19 deaths from May to June 2021 were among people who had been vaccinated is not a standalone story but part of an ongoing debate regarding the nature of breakthrough infections. Shortly after these data received media attention, the CDC changed its reporting protocols, sparking controversy and accusations of a lack of transparency regarding public health data. Critics have argued that the discontinuation of regular reporting of deaths among vaccinated individuals could suggest intentional concealment, undermining public confidence in vaccination campaigns. Court 2021. Conversely, supporters of the decision have argued that the focus should shift from individual data points to broader trends demonstrating the effectiveness of vaccines in reducing severe cases, rather than focusing on breakthrough cases, which still reflect the eventual development of natural immunity through infection. The overall public health benefits of vaccination cannot be overlooked. Despite reports of outbreaks and deaths, vaccinated people still have significantly lower rates of hospitalization and death. For example, a study conducted by the CDC in May 2021 found that unvaccinated people were 11 times more likely to die from COVID-19 than vaccinated people. CDC, 2021. Additionally, vaccination rates contribute to herd immunity, which helps control the spread of the virus. The transparency challenges facing the CDC highlight the complexity of public health messaging during a rapidly evolving crisis. The decision not to focus on deaths from vaccine breakthroughs with the explicit goal of preventing vaccine hesitancy highlights the delicate balance needed to maintain public trust while ensuring that those responsible for health provide accurate and actionable data. However, reported statistics regarding vaccine deaths have increased fear and skepticism about vaccines. Potential misunderstandings can lead to vaccine hesitancy among those who may view vaccination as useless if vaccinated individuals unfortunately contract the virus. Court 2021. This dynamic highlights the critical need for effective communication and context when reporting public health data. Additionally, stigmatizing vaccinated individuals who still contract the virus can drive divisions between different groups in society, creating an us versus them mentality between vaccinated and unvaccinated groups. This dynamic has implications not only for public health but also for social cohesion and trust in health institutions. Gollust et al., 2020. The revelation that a significant proportion of COVID-19 deaths occurred in people who were vaccinated between May and June 2021 has profound implications for public health discourse. While emphasizing the importance of transparency in reporting and the need to continue to monitor vaccine efficacy, the report also highlights the challenges inherent in balancing public communication and trust. Key figures such as Dr. Rochelle Walensky and Dr. Anthony Fauci have navigated this complex landscape, struggling to maintain a clear narrative amid constantly changing data. Vaccination remains a critical tool for mitigating the impact of COVID-19, but its complexity requires continued public engagement to ensure understanding and acceptance. Ultimately, this period marks a pivotal moment in the history of public health, requiring transparency, trustworthiness, and scientific rigor in equal measure. Obviously, the CDC can wipe their ass with their studies, as I've just shown. More than half of people hospitalized and dying were vaccinated and/or boosted. You've been lied to, folks, and it would appear the loony left can't accept that fact. You were played. They made billions. Some of you are still getting the boosters, because nothing says stupid more than getting a shot that doesn't work, over and over. Is it me, or does this look like a middle-aged lesbian? And just like that, everyone is an expert on tariffs. For those of you who don't know, I don't live in the United States, I live in Brazil. Do you want to know why Honda builds more motorcycles in Brazil than in Japan? Tariffs, you idiots. Brazil has high tariffs on foreign products. Brazil has high tariffs on American products. That's why there's a Chevy manufacturing plant here as well. There used to be a Hyundai manufacturing plant here, but they moved when Lula came to power. It would appear some people don't like communists. Brazil and the United States trade to the tune of $26 billion of gear. Most of their GDP is from imports and exports. For example, GMC gets most of its hoses and belts from Brazil. Rubber, folks, it's rubber. However, since Lula has taken over, America has reached a $7 billion trade surplus with Brazil. It would appear, people don't want to do business in a communist country. Brazil is a communist country, there are what they call free trade zones, up near Manaus. Everywhere else it's socialism. You're just mad you'll never be the man your mother was. Do you know what really kills me about these leftists? Think about it, Musk was a Democrat. Even admitted he voted for Biden. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat. RFK was a Democrat. They never asked themselves, why did these people switch sides? What could we have done? Are we just too stupid for our voter base? As long as they keep doing the things they're doing, we have a real shot, unless Trump screws up really bad, of having a Republican in the White House in 2028. Let's hope they just keep being this stupid. Which, based on current trends, it's not looking up for the Democrat Party. Now, in yesterday's video, I asked if people like the new system. I got 100% yes. I like it, because I don't have to go out and buy all this sound equipment, because you're still hearing my ideas, I'm just using someone else's voice. Also, I can do it in multiple languages if I need to.
Agora, no vídeo de ontem, perguntei se as pessoas gostaram do novo sistema. Consegui 100% sim. Eu gosto, porque eu não tenho que sair e comprar todo esse equipamento de som, porque você ainda está ouvindo minhas ideias, eu só estou usando a voz de outra pessoa. Além disso, posso fazer isso em vários idiomas, se necessário.
Just had a loony leftist ask, why are we shooting at the Houthis? Well, simple answer, you don't shoot at American ships if you're a terrorist organization, because bad shit is going to happen. I really didn't think I needed to explain that, but I guess in today's environment, where we have college students protesting for Hamas, that needs to be explained. So, I thought this would be a good platform to enlighten people as to how I write my books, and become so well versed in so many topics. There is a certain pleasure being able to seek knowledge, just for the sake of seeking knowledge, now that I'm retired. I will find a topic or take a class. I still take college classes online. Sometimes the loony left give me things to write about. As I'm listening or reading, I will write down questions: who, what, where, why, and how. That's just the general idea. Normally the questions are more detail. After I'm done listening or reading, I will begin researching to answer those questions. That's how a book comes to fruition. I'm answering my own questions. Generally, if it's anything from the left, I'm debunking their Trump unacceptance and resistance disorder. They will generally say stuff that is not true, and then I just prove that it's not true. That's the basis for my entire Trump era book. The paperback is well over 600 pages long. Answered a lot of questions for that one. However, that information was sitting on my computer since the 2020 election. I thought a book was a good way to use it. However, that's how I write my books. Makes it more difficult in Brazil, because there are no public libraries here. If it is not online, in either PDF, or on a website, I can't use it. I source my books. I wanted to do a synopsis of another one of my books. Grumpy is the t-shirt grifter, I'm the book grifter. This one is on the Second Battle of Ramadi. A battle I took part in with the 2nd of the 28th, the Bloody Bucket Division. Chapter 1. Background. The Second Battle of Ramadi was set against the backdrop of the Iraq War, a critical conflict that shaped the region's future. Ramadi, the capital of Anbar province, became a focal point for insurgency and coalition forces, highlighting the complexities of urban warfare. Chapter 2. Forces involved. The battle involved a mix of U.S. military units, including Marines and Army soldiers, alongside Iraqi security forces. Various insurgent groups, primarily Al-Qaeda in Iraq, AQI, posed significant challenges to coalition efforts. Chapter 3. The battle commences. The conflict began in mid-2006, with U.S. forces launching operations to regain control over Ramadi, which had fallen into insurgent hands. Initial strategies focused on securing key areas and establishing a presence within the city. Chapter 4. The Anbar Awakening. A pivotal moment occurred with the Anbar Awakening, where local tribes began to ally with U.S. forces against AQI. This grassroots movement significantly shifted the dynamics of the battle, leading to increased intelligence and local support for coalition operations. Chapter 5. Notable incidents during the battle. Throughout the battle, several incidents stood out, including high-profile attacks on U.S. forces and significant casualties on both sides. These events underscored the intensity and volatility of the fighting. Chapter 6. Escalation and intense fighting, September to November. From September to November 2006, fighting escalated dramatically. U.S. forces intensified their operations, employing counter-insurgency tactics aimed at dismantling AQI's influence in Ramadi. This period was marked by fierce combat and strategic offensives. Chapter 7. Aftermath and Consequences. The aftermath of the battle saw a gradual stabilization of Ramadi as coalition forces established control. However, the conflict left deep scars on the city and its inhabitants, leading to long-term social and political ramifications. Chapter 8. The role of Iraqi forces and police development. Iraqi security forces played an increasingly vital role as the battle progressed. The development and training of local police were crucial in maintaining order post-battle and ensuring sustainable security in Ramadi. Chapter 9. Legacy of the Second Battle of Ramadi. The legacy of the Second Battle of Ramadi is multifaceted. It showcased both the challenges and successes of counter-insurgency operations in urban environments. The battle's outcomes influenced military strategy in subsequent conflicts and highlighted the importance of local partnerships in achieving stability. Order of battle. An overview of the order of battle details the specific units involved from both coalition and insurgent sides, illustrating the scale and complexity of military engagements during this significant conflict. I'm trying to come up with a plan to put some classes together about my books, especially the Federalist Papers book. It would appear, regardless of party affiliation, most people have no idea what the founders were thinking when they did the stuff they were thinking about. That would be a good book. A good class would be one on the founding, what the founders were really like. Their plans when they wrote the Constitution. Were they isolationist? Were they for or against tariffs? That is a very relevant question right now. With this new system, I could put classes together. Just planning and writing the curriculum. The books are already there. Might be a good marketing tool. Just sharing the books to leftist sites triggers them. Which I find funny. I'm writing books, they're basically calling me a big poopy head. Which might explain their mentality and their lack of education. Their problem is they equate indoctrination with education. They're not educated, they're indoctrinated. Everything I hear come out of their mouth, or they type, I could just picture some 60-something college professor telling them how great socialism is. However, this college professor doesn't teach for free, like any socialist university, for instance like here in Brazil. Their professors are paid by the government. Brazil is also ranked 79th in education in the world. That should tell you something. I'm not bashing Brazil, it's just the educational disparity is getting closer between the US and Brazil. Donald Trump gets an American citizen released from a Russian prison, not a word. I guess you have to be a dope-smoking basketball player to make the news. The parents of U.S. ballerina Ksenia Karelina have thanked President Trump after she was released from a Russian penal colony following a prisoner exchange with Vladimir Putin's security service. Karelina, 34, a Russian-born dancer who worked in a Los Angeles spa, was arrested in her home city of Yekaterinburg in February 2024 after she was accused of collecting donations for the Ukrainian army. A big thank you from the bottom of my heart to President Trump and to President Putin, because I guess that deal must have involved them both. Karelina's father, Pavel, a 56-year-old service company director, told the Wall Street Journal. At a bowler, X. We are beside ourselves with happiness. The first seconds of our chat were all pure emotions. I can't even remember what we were saying, it was like one explosion of happiness, he went on. Karelina was released early Thursday as part of a US-Russia prisoner swap in Abu Dhabi. A dual Russian-American citizen, Karelina was jailed for 12 years last August after a Russian court found her guilty of treason. She donated just over $50 to Razom, a New York-based charity supporting Ukraine in its war with her birth nation. The U.S. has maintained that she was wrongfully detained in February last year while visiting family, after Vladimir Putin's security service the FSB found the donations on her phone. The U.S. released German-Russian citizen Arthur Petrov in exchange for Karelina. Another reason why the left is not reporting on this person is not a notorious arms dealer. He doesn't have a cool name like the Merchant of Death. The guy Biden released to get the dope-smoking, American-hating basketball player back. Petrov was arrested in Cyprus in 2023 for allegedly exporting sensitive American technology. He was accused of using a Cypriot company to buy the microelectronics for supposed fire security systems before shipping them instead to a St. Petersburg-based Russian military supplier. Russian-born Karolina was arrested in February last year on a visit to her home city of Yekaterinburg. President Trump secured Karolina's release as part of a prisoner swap deal. Today, the United States welcomes the return of American-Russian ballerina Ksenia Karolina, who was sentenced by a Russian court to a penal colony for 12 years after authorities discovered she had donated to a Ukrainian charity. Trump's national security advisor Mike Waltz wrote in a post on X. President Trump and his administration continue to work around the clock to ensure Americans detained abroad are returned home to their families, he added. Ksenia, a beautiful ballerina held for over a year in Russia, is on our American plane en route home. Bowler wrote, "Thank you Donald Trump," and the A-Team, Steve Witkoff, Marco Rubio, John Ratcliffe and Mike Waltz. Now remember, on the leftist, obviously somebody with a mental illness calls you a Nazi or a fascist, it's because they're mentally ill that they're calling you that. They have no concept of history, their own or yours. For example, the Nazis were socialist. National Socialist, which is different than a Marxist socialist. Same outcome, except the Marxist socialist actually killed more people. The alarming reality of contemporary political conversations is the uncritical use of serious historical labels. Individuals often invoke terms like Nazi or fascist to characterize those whose viewpoints diverge from their own, frequently without a clear understanding of what these terms truly mean. It is essential to recognize that these labels are not merely partisan jabs but carry significant historical weight and implications. A study conducted by the Pew Research Center revealed that a considerable proportion of Americans struggle to accurately define key political terms, including fascism. When someone is labeled a Nazi for supporting conservative ideologies, it indicates a profound misunderstanding of fascism's core characteristics, which include authoritarianism, state control of society, and the suppression of dissent. This oversimplification transforms complex ideological debates into binary conflicts categorized by extreme labels unworthy of the substantive discussions they actually invite. Such misuse can lead to an erosion of legitimate political discourse. For example, if one person declares another a Nazi simply because of their conservative beliefs, the dialogue is effectively stifled. It reduces the complexity of differing views to a pejorative label, stripping the conversation of nuance and stifling the potential for understanding. It is akin to hastily branding anyone with whom one disagrees as Hitler, failing to grasp the gravity of the historical context that those terms encompass. This habit of indiscriminately applying labels not only discredits the individual being labeled but also diminishes the speaker's ability to engage in informed and meaningful discussions. The shortcomings of the public education system play a pivotal role in contributing to the misuse of political labels. Over the years, civics education has diminished significantly in American schools, leaving students ill-equipped to comprehend complex political ideologies. A multitude of reports documents this decline, emphasizing the need for a more robust civics curriculum to help young individuals better understand the political landscape. When civic education lacks depth and nuance, students may come to believe that any opposition to their views equates to extremism. Lacking a comprehensive understanding of political contexts and movements, they can easily fall prey to the allure of simplistic categorizations. In the absence of thorough education about historical fascism or the conditions surrounding the rise of Nazis, there exists a real risk of repeating past mistakes by naively applying labels to all individuals who exhibit opposition to their own beliefs. Imagine a classroom experience where the focus is limited to the most extreme examples of political ideologies without a more nuanced exploration of the spectrum of beliefs. Students walk away from such education believing that every disagreement is inherently dangerous. This is troubling, as it suggests that those without the capacity to engage critically with differing viewpoints might resort to name-calling as a defense mechanism. Without adequate education that fosters analytical thinking and empathetic engagement, society risks becoming more polarized. The emotional tenor of public discourse has seen a decline in rational discussions, further exacerbated by the rise of social media. Studies indicate that social media platforms have transformed the way individuals interact politically, often resorting to insults rather than constructive conversations. Instead of engaging in meaningful debates over policy issues or ideological differences, people frequently label others with derogatory terms, sidelining the opportunity for productive dialogue. In online discourses, the inclination to brand those with opposing opinions as radicals or even as Nazis can often circumvent the need for deeper analysis and discussion. It is, tragically, easier for some individuals to resort to name-calling than engage thoughtfully with challenging ideas. Such behavior underscores a troubling tendency in contemporary politics. When confronted with differing beliefs, many individuals prioritize emotional responses over rational discourse. When faced with a threatening notion, it appears simpler for a person to shout, "Nazi," rather than delve into the complexities of the disagreement. This reaction not only stymies thoughtful conversations but also fosters an environment where fear and misunderstanding reign. A cycle of emotional reaction breeds further division and hostility, making it imperative to advocate for a shift toward more respectful and informed political engagement. The misuse of political labels like Nazi and fascist reveals a troubling trend in contemporary political discourse that is both dangerous and counterproductive. This phenomenon is deeply intertwined with the educational shortcomings that shape individuals' understanding of political ideologies and the pervasive emotional reactions that discourage rational engagement. As society grapples with political polarization, it is crucial to prioritize comprehensive civics education that fosters critical thinking skills, encourages empathy, and nurtures informed debate. Moreover, it is imperative for individuals to seek deeper understanding before wielding powerful labels in discourse. Engaging with the complexities of differing viewpoints and resisting the temptation to label those who disagree with us as extremists is critical for fostering a more informed and respectful dialogue. It is through nuance and understanding that we can hope to bridge divides and find common ground amidst the cacophony of voices that characterize our political landscape. Only then can we transform discussions around politics from a struggle defined by division into a dialogue grounded in understanding and respect. I kind of like doing this, kind of like a daily diary, including the stupid stuff, but in an audio and video format. When things enter my mind, I can sit down, use text-to-speech, write the script, then add it to the video. No one ever comments on my videos, nothing of substance, so I really don't have anything to comment on except what enters my head. Another thing I wanted to do was to show you the original video with my online persona. The original photo was on the left, and my persona is on the right. Hawk was just shown on Man Talk. You have to go watch that one, it's about women. And as I've said, Hawk does kind of look like a middle-aged lesbian woman.
This guy is fucking stupid!
Well, I guess the loony left is getting desperate. Now, if you're married, and your license has a different name on it, I guess you can't vote. That's what they're saying. It's not true, but that's what they're saying. That's how desperate they're to keep voting ID laws off the books. Did you know, the United States is the only country in the world where you don't have to prove who you are, or where you live, to vote? I live in Brazil. You don't have an ID, you don't vote. By the way, voting is mandatory here. Looking at the number of illegal aliens who have social security numbers, which you need to get an ID in the first place, it would appear married women are the only ones who are going to have a problem. Analyzing Bernie Sanders' proposal to raise the minimum wage to $17 an hour. The debate over the minimum wage in the United States is a significant topic in contemporary political discourse. Recently, Senator Bernie Sanders has proposed raising the federal minimum wage to $17 an hour. Advocates believe this increase is essential to provide workers with a living wage, while critics argue it could lead to undesirable economic consequences. This essay will analyze the implications of raising the minimum wage, how it affects both skilled and unskilled workers, and how this cycle might perpetuate economic challenges. Supporters of increasing the minimum wage often argue that it is necessary for workers to meet their basic needs. Many individuals earning minimum wage struggle to afford housing, healthcare, and education, leading to a cycle of poverty that is difficult to escape. For example, studies have shown that areas with higher minimum wages experience slightly lower rates of poverty. Proponents argue that a wage increase would not only assist employees but could also stimulate the economy by increasing consumer spending. Furthermore, Bernie Sanders' position reflects a broader leftist belief that increasing wages can help reduce income inequality. The rationale is simple. If workers earn more, they will spend more, which benefits businesses. This perspective suggests that by raising the minimum wage, the country can create a healthier economic environment for everyone, reducing the dependency on social welfare programs. Despite the seemingly positive aspects of increasing the minimum wage, there are significant concerns related to this proposal. Critics argue that raising wages for unskilled workers impacts skilled workers. Specifically, when unskilled wages rise, skilled workers may seek to elevate their charges in order to maintain relative compensation. This could lead to higher fees for essential services across various sectors, causing inflationary pressure. Moreover, business owners might respond to increased labor costs by raising prices for goods and services. As expenses escalate, businesses may pass these costs on to consumers, negating the intended benefits of the wage increase. For example, fast food chains have historically raised menu prices following increases in minimum wage. This ongoing cycle raises concerns about affordability, as consumers may find themselves paying more for goods without experiencing substantial changes in their income or quality of life. The ongoing back and forth between wage increases and inflation can be seen as a complex cycle. Leftists argue for higher minimum wages to ensure that workers can earn a living. However, the reality is that businesses respond to wage increases by adjusting their prices. This adjustment diminishes the real purchasing power of the additional income. When this or a similar cycle occurs repeatedly, workers can find themselves in a situation where their higher wages do not equate to a better standard of living. The phenomenon where wage increases lead to inflation can be observed in historical data. For instance, numerous studies have highlighted that after minimum wage hikes, prices of consumer goods often rise in tandem. As labor costs increase across industries, businesses may struggle to balance their budgets, leading to layoffs or reduced hiring. The end result may be a net loss for workers who depend on stable employment opportunities. In recent years, there has been an ongoing push for raising the minimum wage in various states and cities. Some municipalities have already implemented substantial increases, often reaching $15 an hour or more. However, the long-term effects of these changes remain to be seen. As businesses navigate these adjustments, it will be essential to monitor employment rates and consumer pricing trends. The future implications of Bernie Sanders' proposal are complex. If implemented nationally, significant sectors of the economy may experience disruptions. For example, small businesses may struggle to absorb the higher costs of labor compared to larger corporations. The gap between small and large businesses could widen, leading to reduced competition and fewer choices for consumers. Additionally, if inflation continues to rise alongside wage increases, the objective of improving living standards may not be achieved. This raises critical questions about how to genuinely support workers while maintaining economic stability. It suggests a need for comprehensive policy solutions that address not only wage levels but also other factors such as healthcare costs, education, and access to affordable housing. Bernie Sanders' proposal to raise the minimum wage to $17 an hour reflects a critical dialogue on worker compensation and living standards. While the intention of increasing wages is to uplift low-income workers, the subsequent economic repercussions must be carefully considered. The potential cycle of wage increases leading to inflation underscores the complexity of this issue. As policymakers navigate these waters, it is crucial to seek balanced solutions that genuinely enhance the quality of life for all workers, without unintended negative consequences. Ultimately, striking this balance will be essential for fostering a healthier economic landscape. I wanted to give you an idea what the Enemy Alien Act Trump used to deport criminal aliens. This is a summary. Where it says Marshal, the oldest law enforcement officers in the United States, just insert ICE. Article 50 United States Code Chapter 3, Alien Enemies. From Title 50, War and National Defense. Section 21. Restraint, regulation, and removal. Whenever there is a declared war between the United States and any foreign nation or government, or any invasion or predatory incursion is perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government, and the President makes public proclamation of the event, all natives, citizens, denizens, or subjects of the hostile nation or government, being of the age of 14 years and upward, who shall be within the United States and not actually naturalized, shall be liable to be apprehended, restrained, secured, and removed as alien enemies. The President is authorized in any such event, by his proclamation thereof, or other public act, to direct the conduct to be observed on the part of the United States, toward the aliens who become so liable, the manner and degree of the restraint to which they shall be subject and in what cases, and upon what security their residence shall be permitted, and to provide for the removal of those who, not being permitted to reside within the United States, refuse or neglect to depart therefrom, and to establish any other regulations which are found necessary in the premises and for the public safety. Section 22. Time allowed to settle affairs and depart. When an alien who becomes liable as an enemy, in the manner prescribed in Section 21 of this title, is not chargeable with actual hostility, or other crime against the public safety, he shall be allowed, for the recovery, disposal, and removal of his goods and effects, and for his departure, the full time which is or shall be stipulated by any treaty then in force between the United States and the hostile nation or government of which he is a native citizen, denizen, or subject. And where no such treaty exists, or is in force, the President may ascertain and declare such reasonable time as may be consistent with the public safety, and according to the dictates of humanity and national hospitality. Section 23. Jurisdiction of United States courts and judges. After any such proclamation has been made, the several courts of the United States, having criminal jurisdiction, and the several justices and judges of the courts of the United States, are authorized, and it shall be their duty, upon complaint against any alien enemy resident and at large within such jurisdiction or district, to the danger of the public peace or safety, and contrary to the tenor or intent of such proclamation, or other regulations which the President may have established, to cause such alien to be duly apprehended and conveyed before such court, judge, or justice, and after a full examination and hearing on such complaint, and sufficient cause appearing, to order such alien to be removed out of the territory of the United States, or to give sureties for his good behavior, or to be otherwise restrained, conformably to the proclamation or regulations established as aforesaid, and to imprison, or otherwise secure such alien, until the order which may be so made shall be performed. Section 24. Duties of marshals. When an alien enemy is required by the President, or by order of any court, judge, or justice, to depart and to be removed, it shall be the duty of the marshal of the district in which he shall be apprehended to provide therefor and to execute such order in person, or by his deputy or other discreet person to be employed by him, by causing a removal of such alien out of the territory of the United States. And for such removal the marshal shall have the warrant of the President, or of the court, judge, or justice ordering the same, as the case may be. That's why Trump declared those gangs, and the cartels enemies of the United States. First, they are, and second he could enact the Enemy Alien Act. I was watching one of the expats who live in the Philippines talking about what he doesn't like about living in the Philippines. Between the dogs, the potholes in the road, or craters in Brazil, having to pay to use the bathroom, sounds like he's talking about Brazil. Okay, Robert Reich just weighed in again, that moron. I believe he's talking about the terrorist sympathizer at Columbia University. I can't say his name, nor do I want to. I'll end up spitting all over my mic. I'm using text-to-speech. If Trump can claim a national emergency to disappear legal residents without due process, legal residents aren't afforded the same rights as citizens, he's also not disappearing. We know right where he's going, home. What's to stop him from doing the same to U.S. citizens who oppose him? Civil rights that U.S. citizens have, that non-citizens don't. No one is safe, not even people legally in the country, possibly not even American citizens. Fascism is here. If you want to know who the fascist is, Robert Reich says you should be in prison if you say something wrong on the internet.
Damn, an imbecile. Like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived. Everybody knows you never go full retard. You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
I was just watching Tim Cast IRL. He just gave me another reason why I like doing my videos this way. I get to talk about a multitude of topics in one video. Throughout the day I will make my video, using speech to text. I build the script throughout the day. I just keep the software open, and when something pops into my head, I add it to the video. Or someone will pipe in with something monumentally stupid, Bob, and I'll add that to the video when it pops up. Sometimes my videos are really long, and sometimes they're shorter. It all depends on the day, and who's been active online. Colorado's Governor Jared Polis signing one of the nation's toughest gun control bills into law. The bill requires people looking to own a semi-automatic firearm with a detachable magazine to get a permit. While proponents of the bill say that this will help make Colorado communities safer, people in opposition argue that this will leave law-abiding citizens without the proper tools to protect themselves in case they are victims of crime, ultimately making Colorado less safe. The new bill is expected to take effect on August 1, 2026. People here in Colorado will soon have to complete state safety courses and undergo background checks to buy most semi-automatic guns with detachable magazines. This comes after Governor Jared Polis signed a new bill into law that requires a permit to possess those semi-automatic firearms. The permit process will go through your local sheriff's office, while the safety training will be conducted by Colorado Parks and Wildlife. I really think this bill will make Colorado's community safer and prevent both accidents as well as reduce gun violence, ultimately saving lives. However, not everyone agrees. The executive director of the Colorado State Shooting Association claims that the bill signed into law is a direct attack on the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding Coloradans. He expressed frustration, stating that he hasn't heard any substantive arguments from proponents of the bill. Senator Tom Sullivan, a sponsor of the bill, believes that the newly signed legislation will indeed make Colorado safer. He emphasizes that every little effort counts in addressing gun violence, acknowledging that there are no magic solutions to solve these issues overnight. The vice president of Students Demand Action is excited about the progress made after years of fighting for change in Colorado, especially following tragic incidents like the Aurora shooting and the Club Q shooting at King Soopers. To say this legislation will make Colorado safer is not an overstatement at all. Meanwhile, the executive director of the Colorado State Shooting Association informs me that his legal team is currently gearing up to challenge the bill in court. In the meantime, Governor Polis stated that the goal is to collaborate with the Department of Natural Resources and Colorado Parks and Wildlife to ensure that training costs remain under $200, which is significant in a context where many firearms can be quite expensive. So, are they going to go around and confiscate everyone's magazines? Or are they just going to make everyone a criminal, if they don't comply? You see, that's how these laws work, except for the criminals. Criminals don't need a permit because they're already criminals. This doesn't affect them at all. They don't buy their guns at gun stores, so they don't have to show a permit. If you want to know who the true criminals are, they would be the people that do not let you defend yourself appropriately. Politicians, loony leftists, you know, the ones that burn down your business if they're not happy. Could that be another reason they don't want you to have firearms? They're worried their voting base might get hurt when they're burning shit down. Well, that's today's show, just trying new things, and having some fun with it. Since my wife has Saturdays off now, I won't be doing live streams on Saturdays, so this may be the new norm during the week.
Flash, cameras clicking quick. Showtime, super gringo slick. Headlines buzzing like a mix. 20 seconds, that's the fix. Short and sharp, just like a dart. Gringo's antics steal your heart. In a flash, the show will start. Super shorts, that's where we part. Short and sharp, just like a dart. Gringo's antics steal your heart. In a flash, the show will start. Super shorts, that's where we